Hi, 6th grade. Are you ready for history? All right, here we go. Today we're going to be reading section 2 of the Ancient China unit. So you're going to read through pages 258 to 261, and then after reading or while you're reading, complete packet pages 102 through 103. Now, packet page 102 is covering your key terms. So we're going to talk about those before we read. Remember, it's always important to preview an informational text before you read it. And then the page 103 is really designed for you to take notes as you're reading. So what I want you to do on 103 is look at the main ideas first before you read the text. And then as you come across that main idea in the text itself, find 3 details that correlate to that main idea each time. Okay, so you're going to complete that as you read. Don't forget the essential question at the bottom as well. You're going to scan or take a picture of these and email them to me today when you are finished, or tomorrow is fine as well. All right, so before we jump into the text, let's take a preview. Let's look around. Let's see what we're going to learn about today. So our key ideas, we have the Zhou dynasty defeated the Shang dynasty about 1050 BC. So now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, you read that wrong, that's Zhao. It looks like Zhao, but when we get into the text itself, we see it's pronounced Zhou. I know, my brain, it keeps wanting to say Zhao as well. Then we've got the Zhao developed, see, I just tricked myself. The Zhou developed the idea of the mandate of heaven, which explain the rise and fall of dynasties. And that's one of our key terms as well here. The mandate of heaven was the idea that they're basically saying, we can rule because we've got heaven supporting us. We've got the gods on our side. So that's what the mandate of heaven was. And then we have the kings of the Zhou dynasty expanded their empire, but had difficulty controlling their large territory. So what you're going to see in the image on the map on the next page is the Shang dynasty starts out in this slender area, and then the Zhou just really extend that outreach. But they had trouble controlling that land. Our key terms we talked about, mandate of heaven. A warlord would be like a military ruling power, somebody who's ruling through military authority. Chaos, some of you may be familiar with chaos. Some of you may be thinking, there's chaos at my house right now. I know with Ethan and Caleb this last week, there was definitely some chaos going on. So chaos is just complete disorder, complete just disorganization. Oh my gosh, our living room turned into a giant fort, Lego, Nerf. There was just stuff everywhere. It was chaos. So last night they had to clean it up. Next we've got the Warring States period, and that's evidence, and what we're going to read about is this Zhou dynasty, and they're taking over places and they're conquering, and we call that the Warring States period. So it refers to a period of time where they were going out and conquering other lands. So let's see, let's take a look around our text here. Oops. There we go. All right, so on our first page, we've got an image here of King Wu. He is the first king of the Zhou dynasty. Here's that map that I was telling you about. So you can see this slender area here. This is where the Shang dynasty was ruling over, this portion of land. And then you can see just how far that Zhou dynasty outstretched their rule and their reign as they were going out and conquering other people groups. And down here, this cycle helps us to kind of understand how the different rulers were coming into power. So we see the rise and fall of dynasties. Many of China's dynasties rose and fell in a similar pattern. The Chinese believed that each dynasty first gained and then lost the mandate of heaven. So it was while they were reigning, oh, they've got the mandate of heaven, but then they would lose it and another dynasty would come to rule. All right, so we've got the new dynasty rules. It restores peace, it chooses loyal officials, it makes reforms, so it's this new dynasty. It's got the mandate of heaven, it's making good changes, but then it starts to grow weak. It loses the mandate of heaven, and then a period of violence follows as there's this conflict between who's going to take over now, who's the new dynasty with the Mandate of Heaven, and then that new dynasty comes to rise. So it's this continual cyclical pattern that we see with the dynasties coming to rule in China. All right. And then down here at the bottom of page 261, this is the last page that you're going to read today. We can see some images of some coins that were made, including knives and spades, and what they used that new technology for. So you're going to find out a little bit of the advancements that the Zhou made, some new technology that they brought in. Remember, we learned the Shang, they really developed bronze as their metal of choice. But looking at this picture, I think we can see that's probably not going to be the case anymore. So as you're reading through section 2, please make sure you're taking notes on page 103 and then 102 as well. Now, when you're completing those pages, yes, it's important to send them to me, but also don't forget to fill them out on your table of contents page. I designed this to help you track and make sure that you're getting all of your work completed, and you can put a check mark after you get it completed. All right, so page 102 and 103, while you read pages 258 to 261. Now, there's a few things I want you to pay attention to. Hint, hint. They could appear on a quiz coming up in your near future. So a couple things I want you to pay attention to is, how did the Zhou dynasty gain the Mandate of Heaven? So how did they get that approval or that rule from heaven to be able to be that ruling dynasty? How did that happen? Next, I want you to be able to tell me, what is a son of heaven? So make sure as you're reading, you're paying close attention. What is a son of heaven? And then how did the Zhou control their kingdom? I mentioned that they had a little bit of difficulty with that. So how did they control that vast, large kingdom that they were over? And what occurred at the end of their dynasty? What occurred at the end of their dynasty? And then what did their artisans discover? And it might have something to do with this metal here. So as I mentioned, there's a new metal that we're seeing to come about. Those questions are clues to help you prepare for your quiz. So please make sure that you are reading and taking notes carefully, and then scan and send those to me. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.